It's at times like this I wish that I was taller. Can you hear me at the back, everybody? Never mind. Good morning, Mayor and Mayoress, Ms Lilly, members of the Merchant Taylors' Company, fellow governors, distinguished guests, old girls, mummies, daddies, grandmas, grandpas, and most of all, girls. I'm delighted to open today's celebration of your successes by making some opening remarks on behalf of the Board of Governors. Today we all celebrate and we all share in celebrating your successes, because that is what we do so well at Merchant Taylors Girls' School, and the other schools, of course. We share in our successes, but just as importantly, when things don't succeed the way we want them to, we look after each other, and we are a real community. At Prizegiving every year, the Merchant Taylors' Company send 2 representatives. One is the clerk to the Master of the Company, Nick Harris, and one is the Master of the Company, and I'm delighted to welcome both of them here today. Peter McGill, who is the current Master of the Company, is an old boy, and he was also a governor until he had to step down when he became the Master. And Nick Harris is the clerk to the Master, and I can tell you, girls, that Nick is retiring today. No, not today, he's retiring, but I wanted to catch him out, you see, because he's done something horrible to me today. I thought that he was coming to both this speech day and the boys' school speech day, but no, he's decided he's not going to come to the boys' school speech day. So Nick, how am I going to give you your present? Because we've bought him a present, but we will make sure that you get the present on behalf of the girls and the boys' school. And I know you will join with me in wishing Nick a long and happy retirement. And I know you will join with me in thanking Peter very much for his attendance. Girls, it won't surprise you, Mrs. Robinson has asked me to be brief. So I shall concentrate on a couple of areas, because you're thinking, who are these governors? What do they do? Well, girls, I can tell you we're doing something really important right now. We're in the process of finding a new head. And we as governors want to get that right, not just for you as pupils now and as you move up the school, but for those who are coming in from our junior schools and from further afield, and for the staff, and we take that responsibility very seriously. So on the subject of heads, I'm delighted to tell you that my old head, Mrs. Davis, is here today as my honoured guest, my special guest. I was always slightly terrified of her, girls, but now that I've got to know her better, she's really very nice. And when we looked at the competencies that we wanted for a new head, I said, well, we'll just have Mrs. Davis. And if she'd applied, we'd have probably given her the job. But girls, what do we want for you? Everyone knows that Merchant Taylors is the best school in the Northwest. Today's event shows that. But what do we want in finding a new head to lead at the best school? I found a letter that Mrs. Davis wrote to my mother, girls, back in 1978. That seems like a century ago to you. She finished the letter by saying, "Thank you for allowing us to share in her education. Mummies and daddies, grandparents, families, you place your complete trust in us when you allow us to share with and provide an education to your girls. And I want you to know that we will never let you down. So girls, we will find you someone who will provide you with the highest level and quality and standard of teaching and learning, so that you become lovers of lifelong learning. Girls, we will find someone who will develop your potential and bring out the very best in you. Not everybody here will get a prize. I certainly never got a prize at speech day, as it was called when I was there. But you can all go for your personal best. And girls, we will find someone who will tell you that you can reach for the sky and you can and will believe in yourself, and you will do whatever you want to do. And girls, we will find you someone who will prepare you for the considerable rigours of life, so that when you leave your school and you go on to university or college or apprenticeships or into work, you do so not with a trembling lower lip and fear, but you do so with a real spring in your step and an ease of confidence, knowing that you will find your way and that you will be the one who helps others who are slightly nervous when they start their journey in life after merchant tailors. But most of all, we will find someone who you like and relate to and can talk to, and who will ensure your own personal well-being in this complex world. So girls, no pressure there. And the interviews are next week, so keep your fingers crossed for us. So that's our key task. Alongside that, girls, we're reviewing our estate and our IT. What does that mean for you and for the people coming into our schools? It means we're looking at all the school's estate and where we can make our accommodation better than it is. Some of it is, to be honest, looking a little tired around the edges. And we want to be seen, and we will be seen, as merchant tailors leading the way and being at the cutting edge of technology. And this will benefit your learning experiences at school. And we're very grateful that Professor Cartwright from Liverpool University is on our Board of Governors. But girls, we can't do this on our own. We need your help. We need your family's help. We need to continue to raise money, and we're going to have some wonderful celebrations in 2020. But girls, we want to know from you and your families what you want the money spent on. We want you to be a part of that process, and we want you to help us in raising that money. We're not yet sure in detail how we're going to do that, and we will come back to you on this. And we're working with Lisa Connor, our new fundraising manager, to develop our celebrations of fundraising for 2020. Girls, it's got to the point where Mrs. Robinson will be looking at me, looking at her watch and wondering how much longer I'm going to speak for. Well, Mrs. Robinson, I make no apology for speaking a little longer, because today is a very special prize-giving day. I'm not going to upset you, Mrs. Robinson, but the governors and I know that the girls and the staff will want to recognise this, and thank you for your amazing contribution to our school. We know you've had a distinguished career from Bolton to Manchester High School for Girls to Howells, and then, of course, to the very best, merchant tailors, as well as, getting the odd occasional ISI inspector qualification along the way. But I'm not interested in Bolton, Manchester High School for Girls, Howells. I'm interested in merchant tailors, and I'm interested in what the staff think of Mrs. Robinson, because I know. So I contacted our two deputy heads, Miss Tyndall and Dr. Bush, and asked them to share some anecdotes with me. This is where, girls, Mrs. Robinson will be feeling very nervous. Hello, Beverly. Marie and I spent some time earlier together. We both agree that every member of staff will have their own particular anecdotes about Louise. She'll shout at me for not saying Mrs. Robinson. So we are offering some pointers as to those traits that will be recognised by all her staff. She is famed for her love of bar charts and graphs. No major staff meeting will happen without some displayed, and she often will be heard to say, "Ooh, look at my beautiful graph." Well, I can tell you, girls, that's absolutely true, because we had a meeting yesterday, a finance meeting, and Mrs. Robinson was waxing lyrical about graphs. Dr. Bush and Miss Tyndall go on to say, if we were Mr. Robinson, we would be worrying. Mrs. Robinson often refers to the lists she leaves with her husband of things to be done. Open brackets. She also has these for her senior staff, close brackets. But he may be receiving more of them once she steps down from this role. Finally, something I've learnt about you which I didn't know, Mrs. Robinson is not particularly fond of animals. So we think a joke about whether there will be a new four-legged member of the family arriving in April would go down quite well. So whatever you do, don't buy her a dog as a leaving present. So I know that I speak for all the staff when I say what a fantastic job Mrs. Robinson has done. I could have contacted some of the girls and asked you about Mrs. Robinson and what you thought and what your anecdotes were, but I didn't need to, because something landed in my inbox from an old girl. And this email epitomises everything we do at Merchant Taylors Girls' School and everything we do so very well. So, Mrs. Robinson, this email says it all and pays fantastic tribute to you as headmistress of our school. Girls, I'd like you to listen to this email because this will be you in a few years' time. And it will show just how fantastic our education here is. Dear Mrs. Robinson, she's going to blush. I'm going to love it. Let's take a photograph of her blushing. I hope you are well and that you are enjoying your last year at Merchants, as I heard you will be retiring next year. You may not remember me, but I went to your school from 2007 to 2014. You know who's written this. I just wanted to write you a quick email saying how much I appreciated you letting me come to your school. I am not from a wealthy family and I had little to offer, but I am thankful that you saw the potential in me and let me come to your wonderful school. I made some friends for life whom I meet up with regularly, and we go on holiday every year since leaving. I've also made some great friends at uni and also met my boyfriend here as well. She doesn't elucidate. I genuinely believe that I would not have got into university without coming to the girls' school. I graduated this summer with a 2-1 in BSc Molecular Biology and am now starting at Bristol University doing an MSc in Stem Cells and Regeneration. I hope to then go on to have a PhD, and the dream job would be research in a lovely lab. I do not mean to talk so much about myself, but I just wanted to show you that I'm doing pretty well, typical Merchant Taylor's modesty. And I do not think I would be here without the help and support you provided me with when I joined your school. I have gained a lot of confidence and I'm looking forward to the future. I hope you enjoy your last year and to help the girls, that's you, become bright, confident young women, as you have always done. Tell them to hold their heads up high like you once did with me. I hope this email gets to you well. Thank you very much and have an exciting retirement. So, Mrs. Robinson, that email says it all. It encapsulates what we provide at Merchant Taylors. It encapsulates everything that we do. And I know that none of this would have been achieved without you. So it's time now for me to finally shut up and sit down. You'll be very grateful. I've made sure I haven't gone over my 10 minutes. But before I do, I'd like to ask our head girl to come forward and just give a tiny token of our massive appreciation for all you do and for all you'll continue to do. And girls, teachers, staff, mummies and daddies, grandparents, everybody, can we just show our appreciation for Mrs. Robinson in the time on this position? Thank you, girls. I told her to bring her tissues, and I'm glad I did. Thank you very much for listening to me, girls. We'll now move on with the rest of the service. Thank you.
Attainment and form prizes. Year 7 form prizes. Lydia Baldwin, Nell Barrington, Isabella Markland, Maida Pulagura. Philippa Rowlands, Ujwala Singhal, Hermione Wakefield. Award for Endeavour, Jessica Snellgrove. A Form Prize and the Heather Close Prize for Creative Writing, Sophie Ennis. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prizes, Grace Black, Rosie Dean, Jessica Furlong. Smaya Katti, Maya Ravindran, Udita Singhal. Year 8 Form Prizes, Latifa Abdul-Latif, Natasha Fryer, Rebecca Gelder. Caitlin Kavanagh, Rayla Sharku. Award for Endeavour, Molly Owen. A Junior Cup for Initiative, Aliyah Mohammed. The Nikki Oakes Memorial Cup, Jemima Hardacre. The Victrix Ludorum, Niamh Doyle. A Form Prize and the Chess Cup, Eleanor Rowlandson. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prizes, Carissa Brunskill, Rhian Coogan McAreevy, Esther Gonzalez Dominguez, Mia Harvey. Eleanor Panay, Christy Spinks, Laura Wilson. Year 9 Form Prizes, Yara Abdulaziz, Hannah Byrne, Olivia Dodgins, Emily McDermott. Award for Endeavour, Lucy Atwell. The Gaynor Coote Scholarship, Eleanor Alexander. The Classical Civilization Cup, Grace Blinkhorn. The Evans Cup for Endeavour in Mathematics, Francesca Marshall. The Jack Salt Memorial Cup for Athletic Potential and Commitment, Gemma Platt. A Form Prize and the Jack Salt Memorial Cup for Athletic Potential and Commitment, Bethia Billington. A Form Prize, the Cowling Music Cup for Middle School and Middle School Musician of the Year, Rachel Burnett. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prizes, Molly Dean, Molly Jones. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prize and the Emma Flanagan Cup for Middle School History, Zoya Ahmed. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prize and the Evelyn Mashford Cup for Modern Languages in Middle School, Lucinda Barton. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prize and the Hart Cup for Middle School Geography, Melissa Hennessy. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prize and the Pegasus Prize for Middle School Science, Eva Solomon. Year 10 Form Prizes. Philippa Bailey, Maisie Brown, Ella Burns, Francesca Curran. Charlotte Dorr, Gabrielle Foster, Leah J, Zoe Westcott. Award for Endeavour, Zanna Marie Ashton. The Junior Public Speaking Cup, Hannah Cuttle. The Junior Rowing Cup, Bryony Evans. The Laura Payne Trophy for Swimming Endeavour, Sophie Greaves. A Junior Cup for Initiative, Magna Singh. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prize. Dita Bagdanaiti, Roxanne Clarkson, Darcy Fleming. Kate Rennie, Victoria Smith. The Merchant Taylors Company Attainment Prize and the Ian Robinson Award for Commitment in Swimming, Abby Jones. General Certificate of Secondary Education Examination, Summer 2017. Neve Abrahamson, Emily Berens, Nicola Bleasdale, Emily Blythe, Lauren Carr. Caitlin Cash, Eve Coulter, Radita Danapaneni, Sarah Dryden, Sarah George. Sophie Gilbanks, Taryn Guy, Lucy Hayes, Charlotte Hume, Emily Kumar. Yasmin Lees, Alice Martin, Indira Matta, Zubeda Mirza, Victoria Raby. Sarah Raja, Millie Rodman, Hannah Ryan, Isha Sagir, Poppy Salkeld. Moya Seddon, Maggie Stock, Lucy Sutton, Alexandra Turnbull, Sarah Woolstonholme, Eleanor Worthington Cox. Prize for Endeavour. Amelia Bonfante, Olivia Mikhail, Kayla Shandley. Alex Valentine, Gabrielle Wadwall. The Capital of Sculpture Prize, Alice Hill. Year 11 prizes: Harriet Byrne, Lois Cooper, Alice Fletcher, Tanvi Goel. Sophie Green, Jessica Johnson, Ellen Jones, Molly Keating. Hannah Lee, Antonia McComb, Neve O'Donnell, Victoria Ozarek. Charlotte Pickthall, Molly Rigby, Zoe Spencer. The Year 11 Prize and the Michael Bush Award for Musical Performance, Angelina Dorling-Barlow. Year 11 Prize and the French Prize, Tija Gingri. In her absence, Year 11 Prize and Senior Musician of the Year, Chloe Jones. Year 11 Prize and the Spanish Prize, Ellie Moores-Pierce. Year 11 Prize and the Home Economics Prize, Harriet Oakes. Year 11 Prize and the Junior PE Prize, Emily Storch, Emily Woodier. Harrison Scholarships and Year 11 Prizes, Lucy Chen, Amber Cook, Magdalena O'Connor-Manson. Grace O'Malley, Cecilia Power, Emily Stirrup. A Harrison Scholarship and the German Prize, Kyra Ashcroft. A Harrison Scholarship and the Carter Prize for Mathematics, Hannah Evans. Harrison Scholarship, the French Prize and the Spanish Prize, Freya Dodgins. A Harrison Scholarship, the Margaret Mann Prize for Spoken and Written English, and the Judith Barnes Memorial Prize for English Literature, Aira Murphy. The German Prize, a Harrison Scholarship, and the Soroptimist STEM Prize, Miller Copps.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Mayor Mayoress, Miss Lilly, members of the Merchant Taylors Company, governors, distinguished guests, parents, pupils and staff of the school and old girls, I'm pleased to present the school report for the academic year 2016-17. This time last year, we were anticipating the feedback from our inspection in November. We publicised the results in early 2017, but it is worth reminding everyone that in the new system of the two categories of the achievement of the pupils and their personal development, the school was awarded excellent in both. In Ofsted speak, this is classed as outstanding. The key findings from the report stated that the high quality, aspirational teaching ensures that the school is highly successful in meeting its aims of educating pupils in the fullest sense. Academic attainment is above the national average and pupils' attitudes to learning are excellent. Good specialist support is provided for pupils with specialist needs, and the more able pupils are provided with extra challenge in class and in wider activities. Pupils achieve significant success in a wide range of extracurricular activities. The inspection team found that pupils are exceptionally self-confident, self-assured, and responsible. They are strongly aware of the impact of their own behaviour and the effort on their progress. Relationships across the school are excellent, underpinned by outstanding levels of mutual respect, and the pupils are extremely well prepared for the challenges of the next stage of their education. In fact, the inspection team confirmed what we know about our school, that it is an exceptional school. It is a high-achieving academic school, and not only that, but with a multitude of activities, opportunities and successes, is quite outstanding. We're here today to celebrate the successes of the last academic year, to congratulate the girls on their achievements, and also to thank and publicly acknowledge the contribution and commitment of our staff and our leaving staff. We were thrilled with our examination results this year, and congratulations to all the candidates. At GCSE, where we had a combination of new and old grading systems, we were delighted for all the girls who collectively achieved 70% at the top grades of A, A-star, and levels 9, 8 and 7. At A-level, over 2/3 achieved the top grades of A-star to B, which is an excellent achievement considering the uncertainty of the assessment with the new, more rigorous specifications and, of course, our focus on the more demanding subjects. 6 students from this cohort are studying medicine, and 6 chose other science-related subjects, and 6 are studying law and combinations of law. Kate Abramson and Samantha Jones secured highly sought-after apprenticeships in law and engineering, respectively. And we have another 2 studying engineering, Jessie Lee at Cambridge and Ramat Abdullatif at Hull University. In terms of the universities, the top destinations were Liverpool and Leeds. But we're also thrilled for April Lan, who secured an art foundation course at the top University of Central St Martin's in London. I would like to say well done to all of you. We know at Merchants we do not just stand for academic success. Personal development, which was applauded by the inspection team, is where you will recognise the quality of our provision. But before I speak about the current sixth form students, I would like to specifically mention Tilly O'Brien, who became a young ambassador for the Brain Tumour Charity after raising over £2,000 in a parachute jump. She showed great perseverance and commitment in the face of a very serious medical condition and is now studying at Leeds University. The quotation, "To those to whom much is given, much is expected," is a key feature of personal development. And 20 of the current Upper Sixth students have completed their 100 hours of community service in order to achieve their Lions Young Leaders Awards. Sophie Fitzgerald undertook hers in the Community Foundation for Lancashire and Merseyside, while Julia Suzuki was a helper on a pilgrimage to Bannow. Hannah Wilcox is a teaching assistant at Martin Mere Nature Reserve, whilst Amelia Perkin-Brown volunteers with Riding for the Disabled. Some of our sixth form students support our SHINE programme, which teaches bright 10-year-old girls from disadvantaged backgrounds to aspire for higher achievement. Jessica Lloyd was one of these students, and she also volunteered as an assistant at Waterloo Primary School, as well as completing her St John's Ambulance First Aid course. Volunteering tests and develops transferable skills, from communication and time management to teamwork and dexterity. Charlotte Cheshire completed 200 hours of community work and is our chair of the listening service in school. She balances her academic work with a passion for horse riding and has also achieved grade 7 acting and grade 8 musical theatre, both with distinction, as well as completing her Gold D.V., and she's now applying to study law at university. Gold Duke of Edinburgh can be one of the best experiences a young person encounters, as stated by Nia Almond in her UCAS application. Working with others whilst being tested by the elements requires perseverance, organisation, and a positive mental attitude. I am privileged to read the final UCAS personal statements, and every year I am overwhelmed by the sheer variety of endeavours and experiences of our students. The sixth form is a time when our students begin to take their well-developed skills outside the merchant's bubble. They begin to recognise their place in the world and add the finesse and polish expected from a merchant's girl. Many of our students participate in the Model United Nations General Assembly and the European Youth Parliament, role-playing through crisis meetings whilst learning about peacekeeping and international relationships, as Ellen Nagy stated in her UCAS application. Attending criminology lectures, psychology students have been exposed to current inspiring research, whilst the students who visited NASA Space Center in Texas learnt how to construct a Mars rover, a cryogenic capsule, and an Aquasphere robot. Emma Pearson, who was named as the Ogden Trust Physicist of the Year, also gained one of only 4 places to visit CERN, and then went on with Nia Almond, Lauren Widders, and Catherine McGuinness to win one of the 16 places in the National Xmas competition to visit the synchrotron in Grenoble for science and engineering. I state in my presentations to prospective parents on open days that our girls are not just talented, they are multi-talented. They're not just successful in one area of their lives, but in several. Take Catherine, our head girl. She became a young leader with the Girl Guides, has received a Baden-Powell Award. She spent some of her summer in Zambia supporting young readers. She completed her Gold D.V. by open kayaking from Fort William to Inverness. Catherine is one of 12 applying to study medical degrees next year. Saoirse McGowan, one of the deputy head girls, is applying to be an engineer. She achieved silver in the UK Maths Challenge and represented the school at the regional finals. Saoirse, along with Catherine and Sophie Fitzgerald, took a lead role in the joint school's production of She Stoops to Conquer. She was also a member of the rowing team that qualified for Henley. Lisa Chen, who is fluent in both Mandarin and Cantonese, is hoping to study Japanese at university. She achieved 3rd place in a national quiz held at Manchester University. Studying Spanish whilst being fluent in Russian, Daria Artiuk undertook the IFS Student Investor Challenge. She plays grade 8 piano and has a PADI certificate in scuba diving. She's applying to read economics at university. Our 2 potential vets, Morag Molyneux, who has a place on the regional under-18 pony club team, and Lauren Widders, who has danced for 7 years, have equally impressive CVs, not only with volunteering activities, but also work experience ranging from lambing to racehorses and dog agility training. Charlie Apel, who is currently the head of the RAF section of the Joint Schools CCF, achieved a distinction in the prestigious Air Cadet Leadership course, demonstrating her skills beyond the classroom environment. From my perspective, assemblies form a huge part of school life. And in a recent one, we focused on the incredible talent of some of our brightest and highest achievers. Their specialities were recognised, whilst we also acknowledge the sacrifices they have to make to aspire for success. Merchant Taylors nurtures elite performers and supports their endeavours. And as we are so very proud of them, I would like to just mention a few. Eleanor Worthington Cox, one of the young performers of Matilda in the West End, for which she received an Olivier Award, was last year nominated for a BAFTA, and we wish her well in her new role as a Celt in the forthcoming Sky production of Britannia. Unfortunately, she can't be with us today. Aira Murphy was selected from over 6,000 entrants to be named as one of the top 15 Foyle Young Poets of the Year. And she also took a lead role in one of our recent productions. We're thrilled that Chloe Jones, our Senior Musician of the Year, who unfortunately also can't be with us because she's ill, and Rachel Burnett, the Middle School Musician of the Year, they have both successfully passed through the first rounds of the BBC Young Musician of the Year competition. I doubt there's many schools who have 2 members of their school in that competition. Chloe has also been appointed the Principal Flute for the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain. Angelina Dorlin-Barlow has been given a solo part in the National Youth Choir. In one of my recent assemblies, I also spoke about the ebb and flow of the life of the school and how each girl will have a unique set of memories depending on whether she was part of the very successful athletics or rowing team, visited the Colosseum with the classics department, or Iceland with the geography department, participated in one of the school choirs, visited the Hepworth Art Museum, or the battlefields trip with the history department. The visit to China last year was truly memorable, and it was very unfortunate that the return visit from Shanghai Chaoyang High School was prevented due to their visas not being granted in time. Equally unfortunate was the cancellation of our planned trip to Sierra Leone to visit Hope Preparatory School and the Nelson Mandela High School in the village of Waterloo. Prevented originally by Ebola and now more recently by the floods, which resulted in cholera outbreaks. Our students continue to fundraise and receive messages of grateful thanks from our friends in Sierra Leone. The full charity report is in the Prizegiving programme, along with reports from other key areas of the school. But I'm now going to ask the head girl team just to speak about their experiences over the last academic year.
When deciding upon the content of our speeches for today, we looked at what we had done to make it to here. It has been hard, and at some points we all just want to take a year in bed. But we are merchants, girls. We are here in this hall because we all want to be great. Part of what makes us great into strong, independent and well-rounded young women is the extracurricular programme that the school offers. This will be the main focus of our talks to you today, as we feel that we are who we are because of the opportunities we have had during our time here. Sarah will tell you about the achievements and events in the drama and music departments. Saoirse will be telling you about the PE department, as well as what's been happening in CCF and D&V. The clubs and lunchtime activities that school offer are more than a single person can do. Trust me, I tried. In Year 7, I attempted to be a member of every single club, so much so I had to alternate weeks between card-making club and chess club. I tried to be sporty, but soon realised that I would stick to music, where you could hide in a crowd if you were slightly less able. Being part of choir and orchestra has been a highlight of my time at school. I have made my closest friends and travelled the world, performing in some of the most prestigious venues in Europe. The trips away from school are always a highlight. A day away from the classroom to Conway or the White Scar Caves is always good fun, especially if you had double PE or double maths. The trips abroad are even better, forming relationships with girls from different forms or different year groups, and seeing staff in their own clothes for a whole week, although staff do wonder whose clothes they are wearing when they are in school, if not their own. I hope I have always taken every opportunity and made the most of my merchant's career. I would highly recommend seizing every opportunity, as they will be the times you remember. The more opportunities you take, the more opportunities that will present themselves to you. Throughout the academic year, there have been many trips organised by the academic departments. At the start of October half-term, 35 girls and staff headed off to China on a much-anticipated cultural trip to Beijing, Xi'an and Shanghai. They went to a school who we are partnered with and planned for a group of their pupils to come to us. In the summer term, 4 lower 6th physics students won a physics trip to Grenoble after entering a national competition. I was lucky enough to be part of this group who travelled to the European synchrotron and spent 4 days learning about how it worked and how the experiments done there benefit every aspect of life. Geography took their GCSE students to Iceland, whilst the physics department travelled to NASA in Texas for a mission to Mars themed week. There were also the usual ski trips, which are always very entertaining. These are just a few examples of the extracurricular events that the school offers to us, which contribute to the well-known, frequently derided, but much-loved acronym BEFL.
The Duke of Edinburgh Award is a very highly regarded scheme at Merchant Taylors Girls' School, requiring not only mental and physical resilience, but also teamwork and a positive mindset. Friendships are strengthened throughout this experience, and the skills developed are invaluable. The award isn't about being the first, the fastest, or the best, but about working together to achieve something special and memorable. The award has several different aspects. The voluntary section is a great opportunity for girls to give back to the local community, and the skill and sports sections encourage girls to try new activities. Expeditions range from a morning of map reading to 4 days of walking and camping. This year, 35 girls successfully completed their bronze and silver award, and a further 13 girls have attained their gold award, including 5 girls in CCF who travelled to the Pyrenees for their expedition. Our combined cadets force is a very popular after-school activity, which runs jointly with the boys' school. I know that Sarah will mention closer collaboration with the community down the road further in her speech. From Year 9, girls have the option to join either the Army, RAF, or Navy. And this year, 2 of the 3 sections are headed by girls. The lower years are taught mostly by older cadets, whilst under the guidance of the adult staff. This summer, the RAF section made several trips abroad, including to Gibraltar and to Cyprus, where they expanded their knowledge of a working RAF station. The 3rd trip was to Germany, where they took part in an adventure training camp. Throughout the year, the Army has frequent camps at weekends and holidays, involving a high level of physical activity, as well as war games, which create a huge sense of comradeship and teamwork. There is such a wide selection of sport offered in our school that for girls, one of the hardest tasks can be choosing what to participate in each term. The sport teams have competed in many matches against local schools, and for the first time in 20 years, the athletic squad reached the national finals. There have been further successes for the first 11 hockey squad, qualifying for the Northwest Finals, and Near Ormond in Upper 6th reaching the quarter-finals of the Henley Women's Regatta, the 2nd largest women's regatta in the world. The new innovation of an Old Girls Festival of Sport was held in September, which invited past students of the school back to take part in reunion matches. The girls had a fantastic time playing against the alumni and looking back with them at old photographs. We are extremely lucky at Merchant Taylors to have such a large number of extracurricular activities. This emanates from the constant support and commitment of all the members of staff who give up their time for training sessions, whether at lunchtime, after school, or during the weekend.
One of the best aspects of school life are the various ways of becoming involved with the music and drama departments. Such activities allow you to meet people across different year groups with similar interests, and in our joint productions, the spirit of collaboration with members of the MTBS community can be recognised. Last November, our gifted singers, dancers and musicians took part in Greece, which was enjoyed by all those who were involved. In March, more of our talented actresses took to the stage for She Stoops to Conquer. These two productions, which were great successes, are good examples of just how much our school values talent and effort in areas beyond academia. There are individuals within the music department, such as our senior and middle school musicians of the year, Chloe Jones and Rachel Burnett, who have achieved a lot over the last academic year. The music competition held in March allowed all the girls to show their abilities as soloists, and the standard, as always, was incredibly high. Additionally, a key asset to the music department is that our summer concerts require a combined effort, and after performing, perhaps in the choir or orchestra, everyone feels the same sense of achievement. Whilst it is recognised that academia is an important attribute to school life, extracurricular is never overlooked, as it is what helps to shape each and every individual at our school. What I especially enjoy about MTGS is that within the music and drama departments, there are many opportunities to get involved, regardless of ability.
Thank you, girls. Last summer, we said goodbye to Mr. Lamb, who was appointed as Vice Principal of New Hall School. Mr. Daphnis returned to his previous school in El Salvador to a promoted post. Mrs. Doyle, Mrs. Pepin, Mrs. Southworth and Mrs. Vaughan left the school to pursue new activities. And although Mrs. Southworth has continued to support our D.V. programme, so we have seen her back in school. Each of these members of staff gave more than their expertise to the school. Their love of their own subject, their care of each person they encountered, pupil or staff member, they were each known in their own way as performing above and beyond the call of duty. We welcomed into the school Mr. Hill in the Religious Studies Department and Mrs. Girl to teach German and French. Mrs. Warwell, Mrs. Downing and Mrs. Bays are with us temporarily, and our needs in the Careers Department are being looked after by Mrs. Morris. We would like to send our love and best wishes to Miss Tickle, as well as other colleagues who are not present today. We have welcomed into the school Mrs. Lisa Connor as our Development Manager, Mr. Jonathan Reed, an old boy, as our Alumni Officer, Miss Beth Cook, an old girl, as our Marketing Officer, and Mrs. Lynn Hill, who has been appointed as our Director of Finance and Operations. I would like to thank all of the very hard-working team of staff we have at Merchants, the caterers, the cleaners, the caretakers, ground staff, support and peripatetic staff, technicians and ICT staff, secretaries and bursarial staff. Much of the success we celebrate today would not be possible without their hard work, dedication and patience. Our Old Girls Association continues to give generously to fund sixth form places, and I would like to thank them for their continued support for the school. The Parent Teachers Association have continued to work on your behalf to raise funds to supplement the provision for the girls at both the primary and senior school. I would also like to thank the parents who completed the market research last spring, which enabled the governors to focus on a strategic plan for further developments in the school. And we are grateful to everyone who completed the questionnaire last autumn for the inspection. To have received a 98% satisfaction rate from both parents and pupils is quite outstanding and highly unusual even for the independent sector. I would like to say thank you formally to the governors. They give so much to the school, in time and energy, without any financial benefits. Their focus on continual improvement, value for money, and accountability ensures that the school is in extremely good health and ready for the future, and the 400 years beyond 2020. I would like to congratulate the Chair of Governors, Mrs. Bell, on her CBE for services to road safety and the freight industry. And thank you also for your kind words towards me. As you've heard, this is my last prize giving, and when I leave at Easter, I will have completed 12 years in the school and 17 as a head. It has been a real pleasure and privilege to work at Merchants with the support staff, colleagues in the wider school community, including Mr. Williams and Mrs. Thomas, my own senior management team, Jane Tyndall, Marie Bush, Julie Ardley and Elizabeth Lynan, Angela Wadsworth, Barbara Jones, Frances Lowell, Belinda Miller, Michaela Riches and Nigel Price, and all the teaching staff, professional people who do everything they can to ensure that we are providing your daughters with the very best. Schools are educational communities where every individual is supported and encouraged to fulfill her potential and personal ambition, both in and outside of the classroom. Successes such as you have heard today are the product of both individual talent and endeavour, together with an environment in which every one of us has the opportunity to exceed what we thought was possible, whatever age we are. But it is the talented and inspirational teaching that is the engine of education. And I would like to end with a tribute to the teachers of Merchants, both current and ex-staff. As the slogan says, no one forgets a good teacher. I remind the teachers on an annual basis that most individuals are remembered on average by 4 or 5 people, whereas teachers have hundreds of people who remember them. Our educational community is a very special one, and I am proud to be part of this incredible team. Thank you.
Lower 6th prizes. The Drama Cup, Sophie Fitzgerald, Olivia Thornton. The Senior PE Prize, Catherine Alexander. The Janet Mills Challenge Trophy, Nia Armand. The Sporting Endeavour Trophy, Ellie Morris. Harrison Scholarships, Daria Artiuk, Georgina Beachy, Charlotte Cheshire, Anna Hughes. Saoirse McGowan, Ellen Nagy, Rebecca Southward, Lauren Widders. A Harrison Scholarship, the Ken Wardle Rowing Cup, the Sporting Endeavour Trophy, and the Stenson Cup for Games captain, Ellen Murgatroyd. Some members of our Leaving Upper Sixth are unable to join us today because of their university commitments. We are immensely proud of their achievements and warmly congratulate them in their absence. General Certificate of Education examinations, Summer 2017, Advanced Level. Ramat Abdul-Latif, Meredith Beachy, Lydia Carroll, Hannah Church, Taylor Cowell-McGlory. Leonora Gallagher, Natasha Hughes, Hannah Kumar, Tina Lynn, Ellie Morris. Catherine Parker, Rebecca Robson, Kate Rogers, Lauren Ryan, Victoria Ryan, Gemma Sanders. Talitha Shandley, Avani Soin, Emily Stephen, Amelia Wake. Abigail Wallace, Grace Wilson, Joanne Zhu, Anna Yu. Upper Sixth Awards and Certificates. Kate Abramson, good A-level results. Michelle Alexander, Biology, the Woodward Prize, the Caroline Hayton Memorial Cup. Natasha Allen, the Margarita Boothby Award, the Broadhurst Library Cup. Lydia Bacino, Endeavour. Jessica Brannan, Economics. Amelia Cadman, Latin, the Maggie Suyave Cup for Sporting Excellence. Gabrielle Campbell, Psychology, the Charlotte Rothwell Cup. Caroline Charnock, contribution to school music. Eloise Church, the Lane Hockey Trophy. Lydia Dulligan, the Rachel Francis Cup. Sarah Fraser, the Fordham Memorial Prize for service to the school. Lucy Greaves, chemistry. Jessica Hilliard, Endeavour. Ariana Horrocks, English Literature. Grace Horton, the Pepin Prize for Physical Geography. Caitlin Johnson, English. Samantha Jones, the Gaynor Morgan Prize for Art. April Lan, Art. Lynn Lynn, the Salters Company Prize. Megan Lyon, Business, Government and Politics, the Merchant Taylors Company Reaching for Success Award. Elizabeth McNulty, Endeavour. Heidi Malloy, Religious Studies. Thiri Nang, Economics, Mathematics. Tilly O'Brien, the Vicky Bayliss Memorial Trophy for Special Effort and Personality. Jessica Offlands, the Owen Prize for Geography. Sophie Orr, History and Music. Amber Paxton, the Ruth Menzies Memorial Prize for Art, the Dickinson Netball Trophy. Jemima Pickard, the Lions Shield for Charity Work. Abigail Pitt, the Longford Prize for History. Abby Regan, Applied Science. Catherine Robb, Classical Civilization, the Mitchell Prize for English, Contribution to School Music. Ashley Rossiter, the Jackie Gibson Memorial Trophy. Hannah Ruffley, the Heather Coop Prize for Biological Sciences, Contribution to School Music. Catherine Smith, Endeavour. Charlotte Smith, Spanish, the Tom Glover Prize for Politics. Rosie Solomon, Chemistry, Mathematics, Contribution to School Music, the Technical Theatre Award. Daya Sundaraj, Biology. Rebecca Tate, Biology, Geography, the T.E. Anderson Prize. Emily Thomas, the Salters Company. Lara Thornton, the Saunders Prize for Creative Arts. Poppy Yip, General Good Work, the Victoria Burgess Cup for Swimming Excellence. Jubilee Scholars. Saloni Parikh, the Robert Coop Prize for Medical Sciences, the George Green Prize for Mathematics, the Margaret McCann Award. Jessie Lee, Further Mathematics, the Enid Briggs Prize for Mathematics, the George Green Prize for Physics, the Marie Curie Prize for Outstanding Contribution to Advanced Level Physics, the H.Y. Bramman Prize for Science, and the Worrell Award for Academic Distinction. Prize for Games Captain 2017-2018, Ellen Murgatroyd. Prizes for Deputy Head Girls 2017-2018, Saoirse McGowan, Sarah Tobin. The Cynthia Smith Memorial Prize for Head Girl 2017-2018, Catherine McGuinness.
Okay, girls and guests, I'm now delighted to introduce our speaker, Claire Lilly. She is an old girl. Well, she's a young old girl, if you understand my meaning. If you want to know all about her, she's about on the inside of the front cover. But read that later, and may I now pass you over to Claire, who I know is going to give us a very interesting talk. A big welcome to Claire. Thank you.
Hello everyone, it's a real privilege to be here to recognise your achievements and to celebrate with you today. And it's a real pleasure for me to be supporting Merchant Taylor's Girls' School, where I spent 7 very important years of my life, and I'm extremely pleased that Mrs. Robinson invited me to come and speak. I'm also a little overawed that Mrs. Davis is here, who was my headmistress. It's extraordinary to see you and a real pleasure. I have to say it's a bit of a surprise altogether to be stood here. I never ever thought that I would be somebody in this position. I wasn't a terrible student, but I certainly wasn't the best. I didn't ever receive a prize, and I spent a fair amount of my time stood outside the staff room waiting for a teacher to give me a bit of a talking to about homework or talking in class, or nipping out of school to buy pasties, and the one that my mum always remembered, putting on nail varnish in a lesson. I mean, how disrespectful and stupid is that? But there you go. Anyway, as I waited outside that staff room, I would sit and look at this big print that we had of Picasso's Guernica. This is the painting that Picasso painted in 1937 in response to the absolutely atrocious bombing of a town in northern Spain by Nazi German and Italian fascist warplanes. It's an incredible, powerful painting, and on reflection, I think that it had an awful lot to do with sparking my interest in art. Another thing that happened while I was in the upper 5th, I think, was our music teacher, Miss Kitchen, inviting us all to bring in records, our favourite records to play. You probably don't even know what a record is, but you get the idea. And of course we brought in David Bowie and Pink Floyd and all that kind of thing. And at some point in the process, Miss Kitchen said, "Can I play you my favourite record?" And we all went, "Oh yeah, okay, fine." And she played to us Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. It was the first time I had ever heard music like that. I was absolutely rooted to the spot. I don't know what anybody else thought, but for me, it began to open up a new world. I came from a family of engineers with no real interest in the arts. Well, actually, my 3 older brothers all are now interested in the arts, but they're all scientists. But my interest grew and grew. I used to bunk off from researching my geography A-level project in the Liverpool Museum and sneak to the Walker Art Gallery, where I would look at pictures and sculptures that opened so many things up for me. It seems ridiculous now that I hid that, but I didn't know anybody else who was interested, and it seemed fairly subversive. So in a way, I have my naughtiness to thank for a job that I love. What do I do? In the simplest terms, what I do is to make world-class exhibitions with artists. I build a collection. I care for a landscape that is 500 acres and was designed over 250 years ago. Why do I do it? What purpose could this serve? Well, I'm here to tell you that humans cannot live without art. As far back as the Ice Age, when you'd have thought that humans would be intent on only finding warmth or food, men and women have been carving ivory and stone. They've been forming ceramic, and they've been painting on the walls of caves. The Sulawesi cave paintings in Indonesia were made at least 40,000 years ago, and they are the earliest art that we know. What this tells us is that we are hardwired for creativity, that art isn't an option, but a human compulsion. The modern world has tended to divide us into scientists, artists, technicians. This is recent, extremely recent, foolhardy, and I think, frankly, absurd. There is so much out there for you to explore, and I implore you not to cut off any of it. As Picasso said, every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up. He didn't mean that literally everyone should be an artist, but that we need to keep hold of our inquisitiveness and our imagination. So as a curator and writer and advocate for culture, my work takes me around the world, raising money, creating projects, bringing what I believe to be the best of work to our museum in Yorkshire and elsewhere, and giving people opportunities to be creative and to fire their imagination. I've seen a lot of sculpture parks in my life, from the cliff tops of above Bondi Beach in Sydney, to Tasmania, New York, Denmark, South Africa, Patagonia, and Cuba. And I'm proud that I work in one of the very best. Actually, is the very best. I've been there for 26 years, and that's very unusual for someone of my generation. And it says a lot about this extraordinary combination of the natural world and sculpture. It's a place that I've given much of my life to. And believe me, there is no let-up. There is no day without some kind of work. But it's work that feeds my soul and also gives a tremendous amount to many other people, to our community and to our nation. Yorkshire Sculpture Park contributes £15 million a year to the local economy. Each year we receive 500,000 visitors, and we work with more than 45,000 people in our learning programme. Thousands of college and school students like you, but also women who've been trafficked, asylum seekers and refugees, people with dementia, young people in the criminal justice system, victims of domestic abuse and of extreme bullying, people who find themselves on the edge of society, frequently through no fault of their own. We aim to make a place that is welcoming, safe, and accessible, a place that gives pleasure and stimulation, a place that is full of wonder, and every day I see wonder happen. Mine has been a career path that is not clearly laid out, but one where I've let my passion lead me, and where I've taken advantage of offers and situations. Often those are really scary situations. A turning point for me some years ago was mediating a conference at the China Museum in Beijing, something I had never done. It was absolutely terrifying and gave a huge boost to me, my self-esteem, and to my career. I'm extremely tenacious in reaching out to all kinds of people. Much of my work is about having conversations, about making connections, about exchange. It seems amazing to me that Blundell Sands Beach, where I spent so much of my teenage years, is now populated with sculptures by Anthony Gormley, who I've known for quite some time. And in fact, last week we had dinner together and I told him about this speech, and he was really delighted because he's very, very fond of the Crosby project. We spent our time together talking, exchanging, planning. Like all good artists, he is someone who never stops inquiring, who never stops seeking, who never ever rests on simply knowing. I remember my very first day at Merchant Taylors. I'd come from a school in Nottingham and I didn't know anybody. I felt very proud of my new school uniform, especially the straw boaters that we used to have. But as I looked around me, I couldn't believe I would ever be able to achieve what the older girls around me were doing. And in truth, that feeling persisted all the way through school. A fear of exams, of my lack of ability, of not being able to get into university, of not knowing what to do in the big world outside, of not believing I could actually function well in that world. Some of you might recognize those fears, but I want to assure you that no matter how much self-doubt you have, incrementally, little by little, so you don't know it, you are gaining in knowledge, in confidence, in ability. Your families, your friends, and especially this wonderful school are giving you the building blocks that will allow you to evolve and succeed, for you to become the best version of yourself. And let me also tell you that hardly anybody believes they're pretty or good at stuff or clever. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Be true to yourself and just do the best that you can do. Sometimes everything will seem too much to fathom, but life takes you on a walk. And sometimes you take life on a walk, and that is like dancing on air. So now my imperative is to engage with people and to make good things happen, whether that's to do within the art world or with a wider social impact. I want to say something about teachers. It wasn't until my 2 daughters were in school that I really considered my own teaching. And when I realized what an incredible group of people, mostly women, they were at Merchants. They were women with talent, huge dedication, and real passion for their subjects. And for that expression of passion, I owe them a lot. And I can say with a deal of certainty that no matter how much you like or don't like your teachers, they are thinking about you pretty much every day of the week, that they care hugely that you fulfill your potential, and that they want to help you on that journey. It was my history teacher, Mrs. Parsons, who suggested I consider studying the history of art at university. I didn't even know it was a subject that existed. But her observation of me over a number of years, her care and her attention, her listening, and remember I was the girl looking at that Picasso print a lot, her thoughtfulness led me to a subject that I think is wonderful. Throughout my time in the 6th form, I was completely in love with a merchant's boy called Hugh England, and he was completely in love with me. Actually, everybody loved Hugh. And when he was in his 2nd week of his 1st term at Nottingham University studying medicine, and I was in my 2nd week at Manchester University studying the history of art, he had a car accident, and 2 weeks later he died. It felt like the end of the world. I closed up for quite a few years, but my friends and my academic work kept me going. What also kept me going was curiosity. I know that things can go wrong. I know the extraordinary pain of grief, and some of you may also know that. I know disappointment, I know humiliation, and you will too. But it's how we respond, how we live our lives that counts. And maintaining curiosity in the world is a huge liberation. I know some of you will be stressing about choosing your degrees, as is my youngest daughter, or thinking about what to do after A-levels. Try not to worry. When I was 17, I had no idea there was even such a thing as a museum industry. In fact, it's massive, global, and constantly growing, as last week's opening of the Louvre in Abu Dhabi shows us. For some, it's also a vastly wealthy world, as the sale of the Leonardo da Vinci for $430 million on Wednesday night testifies. I don't play down academic achievements or the importance of a CV, because these things really matter. But how you do things often matters more to your success than your specific job. To be given the gift of life is not to be taken for granted. It's worth thinking about how we want to be remembered, what we would want people to say about us at our funeral, our gifts and talents, our kindness, courage, and compassion. Caring about life about the world around me has got me an awful lot further than worrying about how I look, how I ought to look, how I ought to be, what people think of me. The world has plenty more brilliant people than me or you, and the world needs smart people, but the world also needs good people. People who stand up for justice, people who live and work with passion, commitment, and integrity. Whether that's in law, local government, medicine, social work, culture, business, sport, industry, or as a family member. Passion, commitment, and integrity. I'm with the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle when he said that living well is life's purpose. It's a big and wonderful world out there, and your generation is most likely to live into your 90s and into your hundreds, and you don't need to be fixed on one thing. Do not panic if you don't have a big dream or goal. Most people don't, but stay open to opportunity. Keep your curiosity, see the best in people, love yourself, embrace responsibility, and most importantly, give to something bigger than yourself. And remember that living well, being the best that you can be in whatever career or contribution you choose, is the very greatest success that you can enjoy. Thank you.
It's a rich man's world.
Mayor and Mayoress, Miss Lily, Master and Clerk of the Merchant Tailors Company, governors, old girls, parents and guests, staff and pupils. Prize giving is an opportunity to look at the achievements, not only of the individuals you have watched bravely walk across the stage, but of the school as a whole. When I heard Miss Lily speak today, I was struck by the similarities between her school experience and that of our head girl team and lots of girls in the hall today. It was a large reproduction of Picasso's Guernica painting on the school wall that sparked her artistic soul. This was the start of her love of art. Although some new pupils knew their talents before they come to MTGS, most, like Miss Lily, uncover their talent and abilities thanks to the opportunities the school opens. Science, languages, music, sport, academic strengths and social skills, with the support of our staff and our parents, we can find our own creativity and develop a never-ending curiosity. We can all, like Miss Lily, find our path to a fulfilling life. It is my privilege to present Miss Lily with a small token of our appreciation. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us today.